Devereaux!
I'm Mr. Devereaux.
What's that humming mean?
Beethoven's Fifth.
I never said I was more than I am.
Welcome everyone to episode 53 of Kissmas podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I'm the triangle player.
And I am Luke. That's it. Just Luke.
Luke. The artist formerly known as Luke.
Exactly. Technically, my name's now.
Hey man, you're going to get gangs after us now. I'm doing that shit. So, another pretty quiet weekend at Kiss Camp other than, once again, Gene Simmons right back in the news. A whole different, circumstance. I guess he was officially charged or, sued or whatever for
Sexual battery.
Sexual battery.
Wow.
I think that's the kind that you put in vibrators, isn't it?
Probably.
Well, you'll be getting a letter to appear now.
Hey, at least I'm not blocked on Twitter.
Damn it. That's why he blocked me. I sexually assaulted him on Twitter. I don't even know the details. I never read much into it. Like, I don't know if it's one person or if it was a recent thing or something from years back or what. I don't really know all the details right now. Like I say, I didn't. Did either of you guys know a little more about it? Or?
I think.
What was you saying before the show, Brenton? He's planning on filing an appeal?
Something about he's going to appear in court to defend the allegations, and he had said that it wasn't nearly what they accused him of. Of course, coming from him and coming from the other person, I mean, he's under the assumption, and I agree with this to a certain degree, that because he has money, people will sue someone famous to think they can get money. I mean, how many people has that happened to? So it could be something like that, but I really would doubt that because this person, if it's the current thing with the Fox News, they have a job and apparently a good job if it's Fox News. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to me, that sounds like he's probably just going to maybe countersue for defamation of character or something along those lines. And
probably.
I mean, and, at the same time, when I read that, I'm like, it's kind of like he's just now getting accused for something like this. Not to be like, oh, it's okay or whatever, but, it's Gene, and again, that's not making it okay either, but everyone knows how Gene is, and he's been like that all through the years, and, he used to grab women by the hair, stick his tongue down their throat, all that crazy stuff, and, I mean, hell, when we met him, he was sitting there practically groping my wife the whole time. But, it's like, I'm not, I have thick skin. I wasn't getting all upset and pissed off about it. I mean,
you just wish she was
so.
Cute, that's all.
Yeah. So next time I'll put on a bunch of makeup and hopefully he'll pay attention to me a little more.
Yep. So I just looked up a bit about it, and apparently it was during an interview, and he grabbed it was a female interviewer, and he grabbed her hand and put it on his knee and held it there, and eventually she got away from him, and he kept, apparently throughout the whole interview, he kept trying to get it back, and then apparently later he touched her butt. That's all I can find. No idea.
And I don't mean to laugh in the wrong way about that. It's just knowing Gene, like how... Yeah, he is. He's old school. He doesn't realize that those kind of things don't fly these days the way it used to be, And, so apparently it was a fairly recent event then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, November 1st it says, I think.
Yeah. Boy, he's... Talk about promotion for that vault, man. It's just back to back.
Yeah.
It goes from the... What was it? Trying to copyright the hand gesture and the tribute band thing. Now this and I think what he made. Didn't he make another comment about rock or something recently? And just a lot of stuff like that going on. So hopefully he'll be able to make all of his appearances to deliver the vaults and.
Yeah, that'd figure.
they'll switch it around where now you have to go to his house because he'll be on house arrest or something.
Have to talk to him through the glass.
Be like visiting Hannibal Lecter or something. Oh man!
If you're a female and you bought it, too bad.
Yeah.
You don't get to go.
Oh man, it's a mess. I mean, that kind of stuff's just been blowing up out of nowhere ever since all that started with Weinstein and all that, and it's just bam, bam, one after another. It's just
with Bill Cosby, that stuff. He's how old is he? He's like similar to close to Gene's age probably, and
shit, he's older, I think.
Probably.
He's got to be almost 80 by now, I would think.
And so, how many women accused him? All that stuff he went to court for.
And see, in his case, a lot of that was from back in like the 70s even, and so that's why I was wondering, same thing with Gene with all these years of, the womanizing or whatever may have, happened in all these years.
This recent thing might bring up other people coming out from back then, that'll start. I mean, that could just start a whole domino effect.
See, that's what kind of worries me for Gene, because, yeah, that could very well happen, because, like I say, there's probably just a huge line full of women that could just line up and, yep, he did this to me, and...
even on interviews that you watch, if it's a female that's interviewing him, he's like that on camera to a certain degree. So, who's to say what he does off camera?
True. That is true.
You've seen him numerous times. He'll motion a girl to come over, and he'll hug her real close and start singing, what's the song he sings? Dreams Can Come True or something. It's like, some girls might like that, but others probably, they're not there for that.
Right. I mean, hell, if you go back...
Some guys might like that.
Hey, I wasn't complaining, so... I mean, if you go back and watch that old Oprah clip when Gene and Paul was on there, I mean, they kind of get into that kind of stuff back then. And, one of the women, I believe she said she was the girlfriend of one of the guys in Saxon. And, she was saying she's a bass player too. And, kind of getting on Gene like, hey, you kind of just, look at all the women like objects. I'm a bass player myself. If I come to you and say, hey, that was a good show, and want to talk to you about bass, treat me like that. Don't just treat me like I'm an object because I'm a woman. And I understand what she means, what she was getting at. I'm paraphrasing that, of course, so don't quote me. But if you go back and watch that clip, I mean, even back then, that kind of thing, he was kind of being accused for even then, so.
Well, according to the things he found out about his dad, he was pretty much the same way as far as being a womanizer.
Yeah. I mean, the older he gets, I guess the more he's getting to be like his dad was, and he didn't know. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what Nick has to say, because usually he has no problem with speaking his mind about his dad and all the dumb things that he goes through.
Yeah, I bet Nick probably he probably rolls his eyes at a lot of it, and he's smart enough probably not to get involved, because you never hear him. He's not in the middle of that stuff. I think when they were on Family Jewels, he was probably in the middle of it a lot more than he wanted to be.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
Not a doubt.
Definitely.
But I did see something pertaining to Paul online somewhere today. Something about he's in the warehouse signing guitars. Did you see that?
No.
And he said there's a lot of history in here, and he was sitting on looked like one of those roadie cases, with one of his guitars in a case in front of him, and there was all this stuff behind him. It looked like a big Kiss warehouse. So I don't know where that is.
That's pretty cool.
That could
I don't
be.
know why he's signing guitars there. There was no one in there but him, by the looks of the picture.
Were they all those like smash guitars that he's selling right now, or
No,
just?
these were brand new in the case. The
Wow.
one that you could see.
Wow.
I'll have to find that. It was on. It might have been on Facebook or something.
I don't know. Maybe they're doing like a sale on the website, or maybe at the same time with the Soul Station shows coming, he's signing a bunch to have for those shows or something for backstage.
Let's see here.
Could be.
It's not on his regular Facebook. It must have been on a Kiss related one.
And speaking of things, I think it was yesterday. Something that we've talked about plenty of times on here. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary of Kissology 3. So
Wow.
Here we are. It's now been 10 years. 10 years that we've been waiting around for part 4, and we've talked about this enough. But, there you go. I mean, that really just kind of puts a stamp on it there. Like, come on. Oh, cool. Wow. Look at them old cabinets up there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is cool.
It's on Kissopolis is what it's on Facebook. But you can look at the picture a lot closer. There it looks like a set list right below his leg there on that case he's sitting on. It's what it looks like, a set list.
They need to send a chunk of that stuff to the Hall of Fame, and then
Actually,
they need to...
that is a busted up guitar. 'Cause I zoomed in on it. It is, and it has a paper on it that has some words. I can't read it. It's sideways. Probably authenticity or something.
Yeah, it probably tells you which show he used it at and everything. Because I noticed he was running a sale on his website for all the different Smash guitars signed.
But there looks like there's like pieces of stages back there behind him and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is that? I can't tell what.
I'm not sure what that is.
Or maybe it's something they never used. Huh.
Wow. That is crazy.
I can imagine what all's in there.
They need to send a big chunk of stuff to the Hall of Fame and then start their own Kiss museum or something. That's...
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day with all this crap about Judas Priest not getting in, which sort of doesn't really surprise me. Because I was listening to Eddie Trunk today, and he said that the fan vote doesn't count for anything.
Right, yeah.
It was just basically created so the fans would feel like they have a voice.
Exactly.
And it's because Bon Jovi had all the votes is not the reason Bon Jovi's going in. They were going to go in probably anyway because they had already pre-decided who the 5 that was nominated was going in. It didn't have anything to do with votes, supposedly, according to what Eddie Trunk said. And he gets a ballot every year, and he apparently knows more about what he's talking about. Because I didn't realize that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me either. But as far as Judas Priest not going in and everything, I was thinking, well, someone needs to make their own like hard rock and metal museum, and do like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should have done all these years from day one. Make it a real like Hall of Fame of sorts, and have people go in that go by, how many years they've been in the business, not when they're eligible. Like the new bands, that's fine. The year Nirvana was eligible, they went in. Rage Against the Machine was eligible this year, and they didn't go in. So, see, there's no logic there. So, I think someone should, and of course, there'd be a lot of money involved to open something like that and, go about it the right way. But
I think they're at the point now where they're looking for the big commercial name to put in every year, like Bon Jovi and, what was it last year, Pearl Jam and, that kind of... And those bands, yeah, I think they belong in there at some point, but not now. When you look at the bands that aren't in yet, even Metallica. Metallica probably didn't need to go in when they went in at that time.
Well, it's like, for example, Judas Priest didn't get in, even though they were nominated.
Yeah.
And Sister Rosetta Tharpe got in.
Yeah.
Just for influence alone, I'm thinking, okay, so Judas Priest didn't influence anyone.
Maiden's in there either, are they?
Who?
Maiden?
No, they're not.
is ridiculous.
And I mean, I'm not saying that. First of all, Sister Rosetta Tharpe is a good guitar player. I don't know if you know who she is. And it's like, I don't know what year. It's black and white footage that I've seen of her. I'm not saying that she didn't influence anyone. I'm not saying she's not important in some way, but nobody knows who that is, and it's not relevant to a lot of people. They was like, who's that, but you say Judas Priest, most people that are into hard rock and metal, they know who that is. So just from that alone, I mean, I understand Bon Jovi is more mainstream now and they're safe and that kind of thing, like Bruce Springsteen, who was one of the first ones to go in, and some of those people. But it shouldn't be about what's safe and what's not, because I don't know, I just feel like influence is overlooked, really.
Right. I mean, I am glad that they are still honoring the roots like that. Those,
Yeah.
because
But you would think those people would have already been in. That's the thing,
right. Because at this point it could just be all nothing but more of the mainstream type bands, and then they start ignoring those, like the early artists and things. I'm happy as hell that Nina Simone's going in. She was an amazing artist. I like her stuff a lot. Other than Priest not being in, I actually am kind of happy with the list this year. I mean, we don't have a rapper going in this year.
Yeah, LL Cool J was nominated, but he didn't make it.
I mean, the Cars finally going in, and I forget the other names right now, but
well, my biggest problem with it is the name, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's not very accurate, because it's almost like it should just be called the Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
Because everybody goes in, except basically, I don't think country artists technically go in, but everyone else is just like, okay, we'll just put Madonna in there and LL Cool J and whoever.
Well, hell, country has their own Hall of Fame, so why, like you said, why can't metal or hard rock? And I mean, and just the same as that, I mean, a lot of even like sports, a lot of these sports teams have their own Hall of Fames, in their stadiums and stuff that,
And there's a Bluegrass Hall of Fame, so.
Yeah. So I totally agree. Why
But I
not?
think the biggest problem is, and I feel this way too, and I really shouldn't, is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was not originally designed to be what it is now.
Right.
I think somewhere down the line it just got people assumed by the name, I guess, oh, well, to have a display of, say, ZZ Top, they have to be in there or whatever. So it's almost turned into an official thing when it really wasn't probably meant to be an official thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just what it seems like to me.
I mean, you walk around that place, there's a lot of stuff of people in there that aren't in the Hall of Fame, but it's cool that they have that stuff there at the same time, because I'm sure at some point they will go in. But, and I think one of the main reasons it's become the way it is because ever since they started airing the thing on, HBO or whatever it used to be on before that, because now it's about, who's going to be the bigger name to put on, TV and draw that crowd to watch. It's more about that instead of the music itself and the, like you said, the influence and things. And
well, did Deep Purple go in last year?
Yeah, finally.
And
yes, both of them had been snubbed for years. And you're right, like you said earlier, the fans, what we vote on, it doesn't mean nothing, because that's obvious, because if that were the case, Kiss would have been in 15 years ago.
Well, did you read the letter that Rob Halford got from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No.
He posted that on, I think it was Instagram or Facebook, saying that they had explained to him that, and they named over a few bands, I can't think who they are now, how many times these bands were not snubbed, they didn't use that word, nominated before they got in. So in other words, it was trying to make them feel like, oh, well, this happens to everyone. It's not, you don't necessarily have to go in the first time you're nominated or whatever.
Yeah, they're trying to put a little Band-Aid on the wound is what they're doing.
And he didn't seem at all bothered by what I read. I mean, he seemed thrilled that they were even nominated, which as much as I almost hate to say it, it disappointed me a little. that more bands aren't reacting the way like Paul Stanley did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just immediately, even after they were announced, hey, we're putting you in, Paul was like, we don't care.
You
Yeah,
know,
what he said at his speech there when at the acceptance award thing, it's like I was amazed that they not only that he said it, but that they left the majority of what he said in the final show.
yeah, absolutely. And then what was it, Tom Morello that inducted him? Like the stuff he said was,
Oh yeah,
I was getting goosebumps from what he said and his
yeah,
energy.
that was the best thing ever.
And
Yeah.
Bon Jovi. It's like again, they need to be in, but not yet. I think you're. And besides that, when's the last time they did anything relevant? I mean, it's been hell. I don't know. What, 15 years and maybe that long that they've had like an actual hit or anything.
I mean, they've been putting out albums, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
And then now now that they're going in, now you got all the talk. Oh, is Richie Sambora going to play with them, and all that crap again. And so that it's getting to be more about the drama and the
Right.
like the soap opera storyline. Like, oh, is this person going to get up and play with them now? And like that's going to make everybody watch. And
But the thing is, like when Kiss went in, Tom Morello said exactly. I mean, he it couldn't have been a better, intro for them to come out. They could have came out, say that they planned all this ahead of time, like they did on the Grammys. They could have came out in makeup and costume
mm-hmm.
and accepted the award, and then played a few songs. I mean, how much better would that have been? I mean, I know they couldn't have worked it out because we know this whole story, but
Right.
with that kind of intro, it's almost like it's how could they not, do that?
I mean, when Rush went in and the intro Dave Grohl gave him, I didn't think anybody would top that, but Tom Morello did. That man. And Rush was another one. It was like finally about time. Ridiculous. Same with Yes, and then it was bittersweet for Yes because they ended up losing Chris Squire before they got put in, but yet when they were nominated before, he was still around. So he wasn't there to enjoy it, and he was one of the biggest parts of Yes. One of the he was basically my dad's favorite bass player. One of the top. I mean, amazing bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably just going to keep on going that route, though, every year, unless I guess the fans care enough to make some sort of stand. And
I mean, Eddie Trunk said that he even voted for Judas Priest, even though he knows the fan vote doesn't really mean anything. He did.
Right.
He explained it how something about the band with the highest amount of votes, which in this case would be Bon Jovi, they get one extra vote. And he said the only way that there would ever be a discrepancy somehow is if two bands had a tie. He said, and the chances of that ever happening is, not impossible, but pretty unlikely. But the band with the highest amount of votes gets one extra vote, which would automatically break the tie. But that's never happened.
at the same time, it's like, why even do this voting thing? It's like, if this is the list of the people you see as eligible or fit for this year, then why not just put that whole list in?
Yeah, instead of 5.
What's the point of playing the popularity game and leaving some of them out? And
Well, until I heard Eddie Trunk talk about, the fan vote and how it really didn't mean anything, I didn't know that. And probably a lot of people don't know that. They think, well, just, a fan vote, well, that automatically is what it appears to be. Because that's what I thought.
Right.
And that's why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's why they created it, for people to just, so they would shut up and just think they were voting.
Yeah, because then they feel like, they make you feel like, well, the fans voted for this, so this is the reason it turned out that way. Nah,
Right.
that ain't entirely true. Trust me.
Well, the last time I seen the votes before it was finalized, Judas Priest was 4th. I don't remember if the Cars was right above them or what, but it was right around You know.
Who
And
else is
then
who else is
after
going in now?
the
Like,
thing was done, they announced, I think Nina Simone and Rosetta Tharpe and a couple others that was like almost non-existent on the list. It's like, where did these people come from? I know they were probably nominated, but whatever.
well, not to mention, we had that petition to get Bill a coin, and he wasn't even on the list yet. So
Right.
who
Do they
knows?
even do that yet? As far as like managers and stuff, do they have a separate thing for that or not?
I mean, they've inducted managers here and there, like Brian Epstein, and I want to say that guy that managed Led Zeppelin and all them other bands is in. So they'll do things like that, like producers and you know,
Because I know they mentioned, I don't know if it was Peter Criss or who had mentioned Bill Coin at their acceptance thing.
right. And
And I want to say they even said Sean Delaney. I don't know for
mm.
sure.
Well, I think that's what sparked it. Is when Kiss got in and they mentioned Bill, everybody's like, "Yeah, Bill should be in too." So started all that petition, and I don't know how many signatures they ended up getting, but apparently it wasn't enough to even make the list, or the Hall of Fame just looked at it and laughed or something. And
Figure.
oh, another Kiss guy, here we go. That type of thing. I don't know.
Well, that considering the recent thing with who went in and who didn't, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but as far as like Metallica and Black Sabbath and Kiss and everything, how did they get in? How did that happen?
I think it just got to the point where they were tired of hearing the fans complain. When it come to Kiss and those bands like that have the huge followings, that they just did it to shut everybody up. Finally, like, okay, here we'll put them in.
Because I don't think Ted Nugent's in either, is he?
No, Nugent is not in either. I don't even think he's been on the ballot yet. And It's been what? I'm thinking at least 40 years since his first album.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah, I don't
maybe a
know what
little.
the eligibility. I think the eligibility is they have to be. I don't know exactly. I want to say 20 years, but I don't think that's right. And in the business, but it could be less than that.
Yeah, I thought it was. It's like 15 or 20 years or something after their first album, something like that. But again, you go down that list of bands that still aren't in, and it's just like, what in the hell?
Well, my thinking is they're putting in one or two here and there. Like the Ramones went in, and they had Alice Cooper in and stuff. They're doing. It's almost like they're picking and choosing specific types of music that they're going in because they're trying to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Because if they put everybody in, then what? You know what I mean? So maybe that's the way they're thinking.
Well, is Ozzy in twice? I'm pretty sure he is, or not yet.
I'm not sure if he's in solo or not.
I can't remember if he was or not, but I know like all the Beatles are. They're all in twice, and um, you got those situations. But I tell you what, man, when we get to the day where they're starting to put in the people like Justin Bieber, and you still got a band like Judas Priest that's not in yet, and they're putting them people in. When we get to that point, oh man, you're really gonna hear some backlash.
See, that's the problem I have. I don't consider, Justin Bieber. That's not rock and roll.
No.
It's just like I said with LL Cool J. That's not rock and roll. That should be a total separate thing. That should be the Pop Hall of Fame or the Rap Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't include that. They just lump everything together. I mean, if you go in a record store, it's sort of like that. It's like rock and pop. It's all like one thing and alphabetical. And I don't think it should be that way.
Right. Exactly. So I don't know. It's just until the fan votes really do matter for something, we're going to see a lot of these bands keep getting snubbed.
Right.
And not only that, like, why? How about the fans vote to come up with the list first of all, not them coming up with the list and then we vote, because where are they coming up with that? Let all of us vote. Okay, 10 choices or whatever. and then vote again. The top 5 get in. And who else is going in other than the Cars and Bon Jovi? I know there was wasn't there at least like one other rock band or?
I don't remember right off. I know there's 5 that's going in. Rosetta Tharpe doesn't count because she's the influence. So there's 5 in addition to her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Bon Jovi, the Cars. I know the Zombies were nominated, but they didn't make it.
Oh, that's
Link Ray was nominated, but he didn't make it. I don't have the list here in front of me, but
see, yeah, the Zombies, and you're going back even farther with that band.
yeah.
And they're not in it yet, and you can't tell me they didn't influence.
Well, and like with Link Ray, I mean that's surf music. He created that sound.
Yep.
And just like Judas Priest they were the first. This is just my opinion. They were the first true metal band because they did metal. Here you go. Like Judas Priest was metal all the time. Once they got to a certain point in their career, I mean, they established the look of metal.
Mm.
When you think of Studs and Leather, I mean, that's Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Every band copied that for the longest time.
Exactly.
So that that kind of stuff, it just I usually don't care. Because I voted, like I was voting 2 or 3 days in a row there because you could vote one day,
Dog.
and I didn't really realize until I heard Eddie Trump describe it today. I was listening to that it didn't mean anything. So it bothers me more now than it did before I knew that.
Okay. The other 2 are Dire Straits and the Moody Blues, which that's cool too.
That's right.
But yeah, like I say, Bon Jovi down the road would have been fine. I am happy that Nina Simone, and it's taking place in Cleveland, the inductee.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm not horribly familiar with their eligibility. I know it has to do with album sales and things like that, but it almost seems to me like they ought to put in a new thing that, if you've got a certain amount of eligibility, if you've sold so many millions of albums or something, you should just be put in. And no voting, nobody gets to make the decision. If you've sold, and I have no idea what a good relative number would be, but something that ensures the truly, influential bands like that, like Priest and Maiden and Kiss prior to them being put in, that absolutely assures that they would get in there. And then all the smaller people that deserve it but are smaller, that's what we can vote on,
Yeah, I mean, when Kiss was they sold the most gold records in America, second only to the Beatles in overall. I mean, not to keep sitting here complaining because they're finally in now, but I'm just saying, for the reason that it took that long and with those kind of stats behind them. According to the rock site here, the Hall of Fame, they're eligible 25 years after the release of the first commercial recording. And then they're voted on by more than 900 voters. And supposedly the fan ballot was Bon Jovi, Cars, Dire Straits, and Moody Blues were the winners of the fan ballot, supposedly. So. And, I could see that because maybe the people that paid attention in voting, there was probably more of the Bon Jovi fans than the Judas Priest fans that paid attention to that to get on and vote, So, I mean, yeah, they have a huge fan base.
I was sort of wondering, and this might not be, this is just the way I see things, and it's probably not accurate, but if you say Bon Jovi to somebody, a lot of times people knows who that is. Or they like I said earlier, it's like a safe band. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I like the song Wanted Dead or Alive, or I like this or that. But you say Judas Priest, it's like, oh, I don't know, that's metal. I don't like metal. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are that way. Bon Jovi's just hard enough to where, like their 80s stuff, I mean.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, that's really cool, but anything heavier than that, oh, I don't know. Iron Maiden, no, I can't look at their album covers, I can't listen to that.
Yeah, or
So-
priest people will be like, "Oh, is that the band that inspired that kid to kill himself?" Like some people just know that type of thing, even though they were
Negative stuff.
yeah, even though that was clearly dismissed and proven wrong. People just think of that. Like a lot of people, Ozzy Osbourne. Oh yeah, he bit the head off a bat. There's people out there that just know him as that guy.
Right. Is Iced Earth in there yet?
Yeah, they got in when they first opened.
Yeah.
They have their own special exhibit.
Probably thanks to that one podcast.
Oh no, I heard as soon as you walk through their exhibit, you just suddenly lose all your passion and you decide to leave. Hey, you know anybody selling Kiss records, by the way, Brenton?
Not right off, no.
Okay.
So this is completely unrelated, but I've never had this happen before in the years of being alive. I just took a drink out of my pop can. I don't know if you can see this, but the pop tab yanked one of my mustache hairs out. That has never happened to me before.
Ouch.
What in the world?
Those pop tabs, I've seen online that if you turn them around the other way, you can put a straw through it and it holds your straw. That's what they're made for.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
And they'll hold your beard whiskers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I'm glad it was your mustache this time instead of the other area you usually put that. So.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, if that thing can drink, then he needs to be on TV.
That's a good point.
So real quick, I wanted to acknowledge a comment that we did receive on last week's episode. This came off the YouTube channel from Chuck McFarlane. Chuck's been pretty active in leaving comments and participation. So this one here is, sadly, Gene Simmons is becoming that crazy old man. I cringe when he does any interviews. Thank God for Paul Stanley. He seems to be the voice of sanity. I think Gene Simmons just has diarrhea of the mouth. I hope he doesn't mean most of the things he says these days. With that being said, they're still the best live band on the planet. Unfortunately, we seem to be losing more rock stars than we're gaining. It will be a sad day when Kiss calls it quits. Absolutely.
That is for true.
So, much appreciated again, Chuck. Thanks for dropping that comment there. Yeah, I don't know.
It would be a hard thing to imagine because I sort of already was, during the farewell tour, I was already expecting that to really be the end, and
Yeah.
it was sort of like you almost don't want it to happen. At the time, I felt that way, and I still feel that way. I mean, it's like we were saying before. Any Kiss to me is that's better than none.
Right.
But I don't know, as far as like, Ace and Peter is, Peter's probably done. I think I just read recently he's doing an appearance somewhere.
Yeah, I think he'll still do some appearances, but as far as playing, I don't think I think he's finally done.
I don't think he even really wants to do that anyway.
I mean, it's
Even if he was physically able to.
right, and him being the oldest of the band, I mean, it's I'm just glad he's still around at this point, and with especially with a lot of the stuff he put his body through. So thankfully he's still around, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. But, like you were saying with the farewell, I was the same way. I felt, I believed it. And when I was watching that last Kiss, I was damn near getting choked up by the end of it, especially
Right.
with what Paul was saying to the crowd. "Oh." And then,
Well, that interview that they did,
Yeah.
they were all sitting there, and it's
Mhm.
like, now that we know what we know,
this is
how
not a soundbite.
right, how that they sort of pretend certain things are going on when that's really not the case. I watched that interview now, the unedited one. I don't know how long it is. And it's just like, oh God, why did they have to do that?
And then being there in person for that same tour too, it was like even worse. Like, oh, this will be the last time.
The first time for me, that was the weird part.
But it wasn't. It was not a soundbite. Just remember that.
Right.
Hell, Ozzy's getting ready to go on his second farewell tour, so. But I'm sure that'll really be it this time. And
Yeah, I think that it's really it.
from what I hear, Aerosmith is going on a farewell tour.
Wow.
Well, in a way, it really is for Ozzy, because he did say that he will still perform, but not on a world tour level type of touring. But so he'll probably just do like a festival here, festival there, that type of thing. But I would like to catch him if he comes anywhere near. I've never seen him solo. I've seen Sabbath, but that was back in 2001. I never got to catch him on their final tour. But even Motley Crue, I wanted to catch them again on the farewell tour. I wanted to see them at least one more time. Didn't get to do that, but at least I got to see them once. I can at least say that. So.
Well, I tell you, somebody I'd like to see is I was watching this new series that Nikki Sixx has on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen it, I sent you guys a link. With John Five was the guest on one of the episodes, and I know John Five as far as I've seen him with Rob Zombie, and on not in person, but I mean and he was on that metal show and all that stuff, and I knew he was a good guitar player, but after watching that episode with Nikki Sixx, it's like, oh my God, because he was playing a lot of Kiss riffs and stuff. Because Kiss is like a big influence, and it's like, okay, now I have to go out and buy everything he's ever done.
Yeah, there's a picture of him sitting in front of his Kiss collection. He's got a huge collection, and
Wow.
yeah, his solo album I keep forgetting to look for, but yeah, I want to get it. He is an amazing, underrated guitar player. Like obviously playing in Manson and Zombie, it's kind of holding back what he can really do. But like when you saw him on that metal show and you hear little clips and stuff, he does some amazing stuff, man. It's like I definitely want to get that. Did you guys see the picture that Nikki Sixx posted the other day on Facebook? He was digging through his storage, and he pulled out the actual bass from the Shout at the Devil tour.
Oh, wow.
It's still in the case, all beat up, nicks and everything all over it, strings broken off. It was all beat up. You could tell it had been through some battles, but man, that's a piece that needs to be in the Hall of Fame right there.
Yeah.
That's an iconic bass.
Not to be, but I can't see him having any more than one more album, in him.
See, part of me almost is almost hesitant for them to do another album, because I don't want them to just force it. And we've talked before. Monster is listenable, but it doesn't have a bunch of classic songs on it. I mean, 2 or 3 at the most that I could see having longevity. But so I'm I kind of get worried that they're gonna put out that album, kind of where Bon Jovi went and Aerosmith went, where it was just kind of lackluster. They lost their writing.
It's like, you think out Kiss out from whatever period, and if they round, and if you like the sound of it, and they had video hits and they had singles and whatever, it's almost the nostalgic part that you're familiar with that makes you like it. And with Monster, for example, I mean, I prefer Sonic Boom over Monster, but I don't really have a connection to one of those albums the same way I do, say, Love Gun,
Right.
or even Dynasty or whatever, because there's not that nostalgic connection. And I don't think that they can recreate that. I don't think they can recreate the sound of one of their specific albums, like, oh, it's the next Destroyer. No, it's not. They can't do that because they're different people, and they don't their life is different, so they're not writing the same type of material, and it's almost like they would have to try to write like they used to write, which is not the same way as it just being natural. And I think that's why Monster doesn't sound like, I mean, it's Kiss because the vocals and stuff, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound like anything from the 70s. And then, of course, it's not going to sound like The Elder or Dynasty or something, because that's like a total separate thing.
I agree. I mean, it's weird. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's like when you listen to it, you can kind of tell, like, these are going to be staple songs in the future versus not. And that's kind of the feeling I get with Monster and Sonic Boom. Like, yeah, there's a couple songs that will be, but not like the full album like so many of those early albums were. Like you said, Dynasty. I mean, you listen to that and you can just tell, like, these are iconic songs.
Oh, it's like with that classic '78. They're sounding like a certain period of Kiss, because that's what people, talking about fans that discovered Kiss in the '70s, maybe that's what they associate with Kiss, at that time. But like Luke, you said your first album was Asylum, is that right? So if Kiss did a new album and it sounded like Asylum, wouldn't that appeal to you more than maybe if it sounded like Destroyer or something?
Potentially, yeah.
I think I would be excited if it sounded like Asylum.
Yeah, I would
at this
too.
stage.
Oh yeah.
Anything like that.
I'm so beyond tired of the whole, it's the next Destroyer that we've heard the last couple albums, and I don't want it to be the next Destroyer. I want it to be the first of whatever that title is to be the next classic album.
Right. Just let it be good, and that's it. I don't care about any other part of it.
It doesn't need to be Destroyer 2 or Revenge 2. What's the next, especially if it is the final album, like, go out with a bang.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember that Paul McCartney album, Run Devil Run, that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of old songs that he grew up with that he liked, that he had just never recorded, I guess.
Right.
And I think that album is one of his best solo albums he's ever done, because it was just him and his band playing what they wanted to play and not worrying about anything else. And I think that's what Kiss needs to do. That's really what any band should do if they want to appeal to their fan base.
Right.
Well, it's kind of similar to what Paul's doing now with the Soul Station. He's playing a bunch of older songs, and I think if he were to record an album of him singing those songs, I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd probably like that better than Monster and Sonic Boom, to be honest. I mean, the last I heard, live clips of him with Soul Station, he sounded great. It was like complete night and day, vocal range. Paul did just tweet a picture earlier I just saw of him sitting there with one of his 94 Les Pauls. Says that was his main recording guitar.
Wow.
So I don't know. So he's either rehearsing or they might be cooking something up. He might be writing songs, or who knows. Something. So it looked like he was sitting in his home studio or something. There might be something brewing.
Well, I would vote for a new Paul Stanley solo album before I would a new Gene Simmons solo album.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I still hope that vault doesn't have anything off of Asshole on it. Demos or anything. Please, God.
Well, even the new Ace that he supposedly did some songs with Gene, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It's like I said, I'm with you. Like, I'm a little more excited about the Ace and a potential Paul and the kind of stuff that's going to be on the vault versus an actual Kiss album, because I'm just kind of worried. Like, I just have that bad feeling that it's not going to quite reach that potential, and it's going to be the bad way to go out. If that is really the last album. But, I mean, look how long they take between albums anymore. I mean, if that isn't the last album, I don't know what they would expect to do.
Right.
I want to find out the story behind Don't Touch My Ascot. Where did that idea come from? Who came up with that? Who wrote the lyrics? Did they all write their own lyrics?
Maybe.
I mean, just out of nowhere, that, you know.
Well, even in the Scooby Doo, it's sort of out of nowhere in the storyline.
Yeah.
You know, it's playing on the radio in the background, and it's like, what?
I just want to know, like, who came up with that idea. The things we never think to ask at the expo, but
Right.
we need to try to keep mental notes for this coming year.
This. Go up to Eric Singer and say, "Here's my list. Can you answer all these? Take this up to your Q&A and
Matter of fact, just come on our show, or let me just film a little thing with you real quick to put on our show and answer these questions. Please. Or if Doc's there again, get Doc.
There you go.
Well, I guess it's already time for trivia then. So, as a reminder to everyone, it's me against Branton this week. Branton's the grand champion. Did you have Kat watch the episode?
which one?
Last week's?
No, I
To prove that you know stuff?
no.
Tell
Was
her.
that the one, the most recent one, or the one before that? I don't remember.
Most recent. I just uploaded it like yesterday, actually.
Okay, no, I haven't. I
Yeah.
haven't watched.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, too, for all the listeners and everybody, I apologize for the late uploads. Once the Christmas and New Year's crap's over, we'll get back to more normal upload schedules. Just everything's hectic right now. And then somebody's got me learning new songs and stuff, too, so.
Oops.
So anyway, tell if Kat watches that, tell her we want her to come on, and we'll give her some lyric trivia and test her knowledge.
Well, I do that occasionally, because I do that with music in general. I'll play a song. We'll be in the car, and I'll have my iPod, and I'll say, "Who's this?" And sometimes she guesses it, sometimes she don't, because I try not to be really obscure. At least I'm not going to play like, I don't know, who's singing this bluegrass song or whatever. But a lot of times she'll get it. Like today, for example, today is Alyssa Milano's birthday. I don't know if you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
She was on Who's the Boss and later on Charmed. And I asked Kat this morning, I said, whose birthday you think it is today? And she said Alice Cooper. And I said, no. And I gave her a couple of hints, and I said, well, it's a female, and I said she was on a show that you really like, and I said I used to have a crush on her. She goes, Alyssa Milano. I said, how did you know that? Just from those clues, you knew who that was.
Alyssa Cooper.
Yeah.
Jumping back real quick, it just popped in my head about solo albums from members and stuff. I would actually like to see Peter do another solo album, but a jazz album, because that's always been his biggest influences, and at this point in his career and life, I think that would be great. I'd love to.
And why hasn't he done that?
Right.
Of all things.
And
It could be, are you saying like with vocals or just instrumental?
yeah, vocals. Him singing.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. And we don't really 100% know officially until after the Atlanta Expo, but it does sound like Vinny's working on something, like whether it's the box set or even like new material. So it sounds like we are going to have some solo things coming from at least a few of the guys. So we'll just kind of...
like what you said with Peter doing a jazz album, I think if he could get a lot of really good session players that can play anything, or if just jazz alone, they're known for that, and just have him do the vocals. You're not doing anything but the vocals. You know what I mean? Because that last album he did, I don't even know the direction or how that came about, but a lot of the song choices and the way they were sang and arranged just wasn't. I don't know. It's just I don't know if you guys even heard that album. All for One. It's just it
Yeah.
was.
That was his last album.
I think so.
And how long's that been now? Like,
It's been a long time.
was that was that before the reunion
No, I think it was.
or after?
It's after, yeah,
Okay. Well, I mean, still, it's probably been at least 15 years or so.
yeah, probably.
Wow. Yeah. So I'd
But
like
that
to.
album was so I don't know. It was just like it didn't have any feeling to it, you know. And I know he's a very passionate person, and I would think that given the chance with doing any solo album, you think he would have more because even some of his earlier stuff outside of Kiss was more passionate than this album. So it's like I don't know what happened there.
And that is like a pretty collectible album just because of the rarity. But I have heard a lot of bad things about the actual music. I've never, sat down and listened to it either.
I think the one I have is autographed, but I want to say they all were. I'm not sure.
I think some of them were, some of them weren't. But I know like the autographs ones go for a pretty good amount, and then especially the vinyl versions that are out there. But yeah, I mean, it's been that long. I think it's time. Peter, at least one more album, that would be nice too. So, like I say, if we don't get an actual Kiss project, it'd be nice to see at least some solo stuff coming out. I mean, we already know the Vault's coming. Whenever the Ace album comes out, hopefully this coming year, and some other stuff that may pop up that might surprise us. That would be awesome too. So,
Shoot, I'm down for BK4.
yeah, there you go.
What's going on? Or even if him and Bob got together and just did a specific album where they all knew, don't bother with anything out of the vaults, just sit down the two of you and write a whole album, and then, oh man, that'd be killer.
Bob did say that they have talked about trying to do it. It's just it's hard for them to find the time with Bruce doing Grand Funk and everything, and Bob doing his stuff. But oh man, that would be, or at least do like a tour, man. If they were able to hit one of these, like the Rose or something close to here, and playing all that kind of stuff they did on the cruise, oh man. Or even at the freaking expo, if they were able to have them both there again this year and they can get up and do that, oh,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
5 different categories as well.
Sweet. Like Jeopardy.
Exactly. I figure that you guys can pick which category you want to try out. We'll see how that works.
And we're allowed, one skip?
One skip.
If needed.
One piece, right? All right. Well, this will be interesting. I tried to think of some hard ones. I don't. I'm hoping they're not too difficult, but after last week, when some of those were like, "Holy crap, that's ridiculous."
You're always thinking of hard ones.
That's true. All right. So who's starting?
Brent can start since he's the champ.
Okay.
Since he's chewing.
Here you go. Okay, so the categories this time are eras of Kiss, okay? So the 5 categories are pre-Kiss, 70s Kiss, 80s Kiss, 90s Kiss, and 2000s Kiss.
Cool.
That's a lot of Kiss.
It is. Tis a lot. So which one you want to go for?
Oh, let's see. How about 70s Kiss?
Okie dokie. So we'll be starting off right away with a weird one. Are you familiar with Alive 2?
I've heard of it.
All right, good. These are multiple choice. This particular question here is, what is the 7th song on the original version of Alive 2? All right. Is it Take Me, Rock Bottom, Ladies' Room, Christine 16, or the ever-popular 5th choice, Stayin' Alive?
That's actually a tad tricky.
Well, I've already narrowed it down to 2 answers.
Staying alive and what?
I'd say it's Christine 16.
Correct. Woohoo! All right, Eli, which one you want to do?
Let's do 30s Kiss. Or, I meant pre-Kiss.
Freak it. Okay. Who produced Wicked Lester's 1972 debut album? Is it Eddie Kramer, John Niebuhr, Ron Josen, Mike Klink, or Donald Trump?
Ron Josen.
Indeed.
See, I was going to say Joseph Kiss Sr.
I went ahead and I really wanted to include outlandish, ridiculous answers, and I thought about doing 4 but then I was like, so there's a 5th retarded answer for every single question, just so you guys know. Figured I'd narrow it down a little bit for you. All right, Brandon, what you want to do?
Let's do the 80s.
Okie dokie. What is the date of Kiss's first non-makeup show? Is it January 24th, 1983? October 11th, 1983? August 26th, 1983? June 1st, 1983? Or just this past Tuesday?
I'd say January.
All right, incorrect. Eli, you want to take a shot at that?
I'm going to go with August.
Also incorrect. It was October 11th.
And the ever-popular argument, did Gene spit blood on that show?
Ooh, I don't know.
I've got pictures. I posted pictures on our Facebook page a while back, and they really look like it. Because some people say, "Oh, it's just the lighting. It's red lighting." It really looks like blood to me. You go back and scroll back and look at those pictures. I posted, I think, 2 or 3 different ones.
I mean, it makes sense, honestly, that they would be still a little hesitant to abandon all of the visual aspects.
Right. I mean, hell, he still did the fire.
Right.
So.
Alrighty, we're still 1 for 1 here. So, Eli?
Let's do 90s.
Okey-dokey. Kiss's first 90s album had how many songs? 10, 15, 12, 9, or 655.5 because the last song was written by a midget.
That would be 12.
Indeed. That is for true. Alrighty, Branton.
Let's do the 2000s.
Alright. This one's a tiny bit tricky. It's another date one. What was the date of Kiss's first concert with Tommy Thayer as the Spaceman and Eric Singer as the Catman? So, more or less the current lineup. May 8th, 2004, June 15th, 2003, March 6th, 2002, July 21st, 2003, or it doesn't matter because this question should be rephrased as, when did the tribute band start?
What was the 2 for 2003? What was those 2 dates?
June 15th or July 21st?
I'd say July 21st.
All right, incorrect. Eli?
I want to say the June then.
Nope.
What?
Afraid not. Yeah, March 6th, 2002.
What?
Yeah, they played a show in Jamaica.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Technically.
Yeah, I knew that. I just didn't know when it was.
It was earlier than I was expecting, but then apparently it was after that Peter came back for a minute,
Yeah.
and then Eric came back again, yeah.
Because that was like right after they did the Olympics with Ace, so it was the same year.
Yeah.
That's I would have never thought of that, but yeah, I guess it was.
Yep. Okie dokie. Eli.
70s.
All right. Which of the following producers only produced one Kiss album in the 70s? Vinnie Poncia, Kenny Kerner, Neil Bogart, Eddie Kramer, or Ludwig van Beethoven?
Neil Bogart.
Indeed. I was originally intending for Vinny to be the answer to that until I remembered he also did Peter's solo album. So. Okie dokie, Branton.
Yeah. Go back to the 70s.
Okie dokie.
Seem to have better luck there.
Back to the Stone Age.
The lyric, "One day you'll see, you'll come crawling back to me, I'm your one and only, that's a fact, yeah," comes from what 70s Kiss song? Is it X-Ray Eyes, Getaway, Living in Sin, Baby Driver, or a recently unearthed Gene Simmons demo called "I Don't Like Sex That Much and I've Decided to Live My Life the Way Other People Say I Should"?
Can I call my girlfriend on this? She's a lyric person. X-Ray Eyes.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Can you ask the questions all the time?
The fifth answers that's my favorite part of the whole thing.
It kind of throws you off almost, too.
Yeah, because you're laughing and then you forget all the rest of them. It's like, I didn't get that.
Let's do 80s.
Right. How many full shows was Mark St. John reportedly able to perform with Kiss?
4.
Was it 2, 4, 1, 3, or 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42?
I'm going to stick with 4.
Ooh, incorrect. Right?
I say 3.
Oh, also incorrect. There's only 2.
Ah,
Yeah. Technically it's 2.5, but the question is full shows. So
right.
that's the reported amount anyway, because as we know, Kiss won't actually just say. All right, back to Brenton then.
Let's do some pre-Kiss.
Okay. Oh, all right. What was the name of Chelsea's debut album released in 1970? Was it Rollin' Along? Was it Chelsea? We're Doomed? Captain Sanity? Or My Pickle Has Become Too Salty?
I say it's just Chelsea.
Correct. I really wish it were the pickle one.
Yeah,
That could be his
I would have
jazz
to-
album.
yeah, I would have to get that album just for the title. You imagine what the cover would look like?
Oh, God. Him pouring sugar on a pickle.
Yeah, see, that should also be, we could do that on trivia. We could hold up pictures. Okay, what's this picture? Is it this, 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 or this?
What are we at now?
3 and 3, tied.
Let's do let's do 2000s.
Okay. How many songs from Kiss's no makeup era were re-recorded for the second disc of Sonic Boom?
Oh, God.
Was it
I hate
3,
that thing.
5, 1, none, or I wouldn't know, I don't shop at Walmart?
It'd have to be 5 then.
3. Hey, I just gave the answer away. Correct. Way to go.
That's all right. I didn't understand the question, so
Wait,
I would.
the disc that was all the re-recorded songs, there was only 3 on there?
3 from the no makeup era, yeah.
Oh, see,
Oh,
I totally...
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Oh, man, that completely went over my head.
My bad.
Ah,
That's all right. We would have both missed that one.
Right. Heaven's on Fire, Lick It Up, and Forever were the only no makeup era on there.
Darn.
Indeed.
Yeah, because when you first said that, I'm thinking, well, there's like 12 or 15 songs on there. How can that be?
That's why I was like, what? 3? I was like, oh yeah, non-make, duh. Listen to the whole sentence.
All right, Branton.
Let's go back to the 70s again.
Okay. Gotta find the stupid page. Okay. At what venue did Gene Simmons set his hair on fire for the first time? Was it Cobo Hall, the Forum, the Coventry, the Academy of Music, or the van down by the river?
I want to say the Coventry.
Incorrect. Eli?
The Academy.
Indeed.
That's what I was going to say, but wasn't that was their first show? It wasn't their first show, but was that the one? Was that on TV or not? That wasn't the Don Kirshner's thing. That wasn't the same place, was it?
No.
A different studio altogether. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I had those two connected.
Yeah. I was trying to come up with a fifth answer that had something to do with a Pepsi commercial, and I just couldn't make it work. That is the last of the 70s Kiss questions, by the way.
No. Let's do pre-Kiss.
All right. Which of the following is one of Ace Frehley's pre-Kiss bands? The Magic People, Godzilla, Rock Soldiers, Rage, or the Jonas Brothers?
I want to say
I wish it was the Jonas.
the Jindal Brothers.
Yes.
I'm going to say Godzilla.
Incorrect. Branton.
Now, is this which one is or which one isn't?
Which one is?
Which one is? The Magic Kids.
Yeah, it was Magic People, but yeah.
Magic, okay. Yeah.
Isn't-
I got the magic part right.
Yeah, you got it, yeah.
You got the magic touch.
Woohoo. All right, we're still tied, 4-4 now.
Foul.
Foul. Okay, back to Branton.
Let's do the 80s.
Okay. Which of the following 80s Kiss albums were not produced by Paul Stanley? Asylum, Hot in the Shade, Animalize, Crazy Nights, or Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Well, that wasn't technically in the 80s, though, was it?
Technically not, no.
Oh, I should know this. Look it up.
Oh, it wasn't on there. You would be technically correct. He didn't produce that one, but no. Asylum, Hot in the Shade, Animalize, or Crazy Nights?
Has to be Hot in the Shade, then.
Incorrect.
Oh. I had 3 guesses and they were wrong.
That would
Not look it up.
Yeah.
it would be Animalize.
Also incorrect. Crazy Nights.
Damn.
Wow.
Yep. That would have stumped me, and I'm usually pretty good about producers, but I didn't remember until I looked at the answer for this question that he didn't produce Hot in the Shade.
I think we're on a bad streak right now. When's the last time we got one right?
Yeah. Still 4-4. All right, Eli.
70s is gone, right? Everything else is still there.
Yep.
Let's do 2000s.
Okay. The lyric, "Ready, set, go, light the fire below, no time left to rest my head," comes from what 2000s Kiss song? Is it Never Enough, Danger Us, Modern Day Delilah, Hot and Cold, or Teardrops on My Guitar?
I'm taking a guess. Dangerous.
Incorrect. Brandon.
Is it Never Enough?
It is.
Again, I don't like Sonic Boom as much.
Well, you know, the only reason I know, and I don't know, this might be the reason I know it. Weren't they on a German TV show and they did a medley and that was one of the songs? I want to say.
I don't think I've seen that.
That was Say Yeah. I get those two
Okay.
mixed.
Yeah.
Oh, right. All right, back to Brandon.
Burger.
Let's do Free Kiss.
Free Kiss. All right, and this is the last Free Kiss question here. Which member of Kiss was born last? Or who was the youngest, I guess would be a different way. Paul Stanley, Tommy Thayer, Mark St. John, Bruce Kulick, or Herschel Krostowski?
Good old Herschel. I'd say Tommy Thayer. Just
Yes, indeed. Correct.
I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah. He's actually far younger than them. Him and Eric Singer are both quite a bit younger than most of everybody else.
Yeah, they're only in their 50s, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah,
Like-
Tommy Thayer was born in 1960. I remember that.
57 then.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, we only have 2 questions left. One from the 80s and... Oh, no, we still got most of the 90s questions. My bad. Okay, so pre-Kiss and 70s Kiss are gone.
Okay, let's do 90s.
All right. Which of the following songs was not performed on Kiss Unplugged? Black Diamond, Plaster Caster, I Still Love You, 2000 Man, or Gangnam Style?
Well, Gangnam Style and Black Diamond.
Correct.
I'd like to heard them do both of those songs.
Oh my god.
That would have been pretty interesting, yeah.
I wonder if they've ever played Black Diamond like unplugged on like the tour, the unplugged tour. I wonder if they have the convention tour or whatever it was. I wonder if they ever played that.
That'd be cool.
That's a good question.
All right, Brandon.
Let's go for the 90s.
Okay. What is the 9th song on the official version of Carnival of Souls, the final section?
I don't think I know this either.
Oh. I Walk Alone, I Confess, Seduction of the Innocent, Jungle, or a Bruce Kulick sang version of everyone's favorite Kiss classic, Talk to Me.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
I wish he would sing that. I Confess.
Incorrect. Eli.
What was the second one?
The second one was I Confess.
Or, okay, after that,
Seduction of the Innocent.
that one.
Correct.
I was going to say that, but I really didn't have a clue.
Well, I know I Walk Alone was the last song.
Yeah, I did know that.
And I Confess, I believe, was track 11, something like that. 13. So, yeah, dumb guess.
I'm relatively familiar with that album, and I wouldn't have known that.
All right, let's do... Is this the last one in the 90s?
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, let's close that one out then.
Okie dokie. Bruce Kulick played bass guitar on which 2 tracks from Psycho Circus? Is it Within and I Finally Found My Way? We Are One and Dreamin'? Raise Your Glasses and Journey of a Thousand Years? Psycho Circus and Dreamin'? Or Stacy's Mom and Welcome to the Jungle?
Within and Finally Found My Way.
Ooh, incorrect.
Oh,
Right?
Um,
I could have
Raise Your
swore.
Glasses and whatever the other one was.
Also incorrect.
I could have swore Within was one of them.
Yeah, well, he played guitar on that one.
Oh, that's right. Ah.
Right, yeah. According to Wikipedia, he played bass on Psycho Circus and Dreamin'. Never would have guessed he played on Psycho Circus, but
That's a cool bass line, too.
it is.
No wonder.
Okay, so we got one more question in 80s and one more question in 2000s.
Well, let's go for
Still tied up.
2000.
Okie dokie. Counting Sonic Boom and the solo albums, but discounting live albums, greatest hits, and any other compilations, how many studio albums had Kiss put out as of 2009? Is it 20, 23, 19, 25, or... I thought this quiz was about Aerosmith.
Was 23 a choice?
It was.
23.
Correct. Nice. Okay, so we got one question left for Eli, and the score is 7-6 in Branton. So you got to tie it up.
You better get a tiebreaker ready.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. We got an even number of questions. Ugh. Okay. So this last question comes from the 80s Kiss category. Which of the following songs from Creatures of the Night does not feature a guitar solo from Vinnie Vincent? Is it Keep Me Comin', Saint and Sinner, Rock and Roll Hell, Danger, or this is a trick question, Vinnie didn't play on the album at all. Ace is on the cover, so he must have played all the solos, right?
Okay, say the songs again, please.
Yeah. Keep Me Comin', Saint and Sinner, Rock and Roll Hell, or Danger?
Danger.
Ooh, incorrect.
Ah!
There's no point at this point, but Branton, you want to take a shot?
Keep Me Coming.
Also incorrect. It was Rock and Roll Hell.
Rock and Roll Hell.
Rock and Roll Hell.
Damn it!
Janet.
That was a close game. Wow.
Branton's on fire.
He really is.
Amazing. Actually cold. I feel really cold.
If you're too hot, you're too cold.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Oh yeah, the Branton's prize. I will insert this for you viewers here. Who the hell's Calvin Richards?
That was he was in the credits for Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Jesus.
That should have been a bonus question.
That's so random.
Who the hell?
Calvin Richards.
Here, I'll go ahead and send the one I made for Eli too, just because it's funny.
Who's Drago? I'm ready for more.
I know, right?
I can just do trivia forever.
Well, the way those were set up, the way you set those up, made me feel like I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
We just needed the music. Dun, 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 right before.
All the lights go down. Yeah.
Is that your final answer? Can I use a lifeline?
I didn't even think either, like the whole time, to even like use a skip.
Yeah. Same when we did it last week. I did not even occurred.
Well, next week is The difficult questions again,
Yay.
like yours. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start.
So next week it's who against who?
You against Luke again,
Oh, okay.
unless you want to bring Kat on.
Oh, okay. You know, we could bring a special guest for trivia from time to time. I mean, I don't know who and how and all that, but
Oh, did you see that The Decadence Divine got nominated in a group for best album of 2017?
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it was in Christian Metalheads International or something, and okay. I guess I didn't read it all the way. It's best Jesus metal album of 2017. Among, oh geez, there were a bunch, and they were wanting people to vote in the comment section, but most people are putting bands that aren't even nominated in there.
You actually know how much the fan vote counts.
Exactly.
is Jesus metal? Is that just considered Christian rock? Or Christian metal? Is that the same, or is that a specific type?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Hello?
Hello,
I am.
is it me you're looking for?
Kiss Crusade is doing the pre-sale.
Oh.
October 31st to November 5th, sailing from Miami. Miami.
Or New Orleans. Good God, they've already made that the cover photo on the Kiss page.
Apparently, there's not much else going on to do that.
Yeah.
And those things go so quick, too, it's ridiculous. Oh my God, I just went on Kiss Army Warehouse and they now have Kiss toilet seats.
Oh, God.
They have Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over, Destroyer, and Dynasty.
A destroyer.
Oh my
much.
gosh. I must get one.
They should have Hot in the Shade too.
They should have the Peter Criss solo album. Well, on that note, we will wrap up this episode. Let's see. Yeah, we'll probably get an episode next week. That'll be the day after Christmas, so
Yeah.
should be able to fit one in, I would think. So, unless you guys have anything going on, do you?
Just get my tickets to the Kiss Cruise 2008.
Hey, the countdown starts for the Indie Expo now. We start looking and seeing what's on there. When are they going to announce it?
Call Keith.
Yeah, we'll have him on next week and find out.
I wish.
All right, then. Until next week, everyone, thanks for watching. Again, subscribe to the page, like our Facebook page, subscribe to the channel, and everyone have a great Christmas. It'll be after Christmas by the time we see you again. So, hope everyone has a great Kissmas. Please, hey, you guys get some Kiss stuff, share it on our page. We'd love to see what you get, and we'll do the same if we get anything. So, all right, Pippi, what do you got to say before we go?
Hey, Pippi, come here. Come here.
That look was, huh? What do you got to say before we go, Pippi?
Not a thing. She's like, you guys got any bones? Because if you don't, I'm not interested.
I got some cheese.
You want that cheese? Yeah.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Ho, ho, ho.